Here's a bouncer by the BCCI. A menu look board of the BCCI, as far as the team in Australia is concerned, says that no pork, no beef, and only halal products that will be served as far as the menu is concerned. Now, the BCCI has justified this, saying that this is something that they have always done in the past, but now both netizens as well as the BJP have protested to this issue. The question of equality and choice is being raised. Listen into the responses coming in on the story.
लेकिन आपको ये अधिकार किसने दिया है कि आप हलाल को इंट्रोड्यूस करें? आपको तो शायद ये पता भी नहीं होगा कि हलाल क्या होता है। इस तरह की इलीगल एक्टिविटी को हम अलाउ नहीं करेंगे। Nation will never allow such kind of illegal decisions taken by the BCCI. You should immediately withdraw this.
BJP wants to see religion in every aspect of life. Now, as far as halal food is concerned, it is non-vegetarian. There are certain people who are meat eaters, but for their faith purposes, for their practices, they believe that they could only eat meat which is halal. And those who are not insisting for halal food can eat any meat. But then it is something like, if halal food is made available, those who are not insisting for halal should have no objection for eating that meat.
And in fact, I spoke to the BCCI on this issue. They said that this is a practice that has been followed in the past, that it is not the board but the players who, in consultation with the team management, decide what is to be eaten. Listen to the response.
There is no need of any clarification, because this is not BCCI's job to advise them as to what they should eat and what not to eat. If somebody is non-vegetarian, if somebody is vegetarian, if somebody is vegan, he eats. So they take their own call, and they are very conscious about what to eat, what not to eat, keeping their health, diet and everything in mind. So BCCI, as far as BCCI is concerned, they have no role to play. It is not even norm. Even if somebody wants to eat pork, why should we tell him not to? Some time back, maybe ages back, somebody would have said that on the basis of player feedback only, that since I don't eat beef, so it could be said that, if foreign players are having, I may be given different distance. BCCI is definitely okay with it. Is players, individuals' preference as to what they want to eat. BCCI doesn't guide them. BCCI doesn't advise them.
Let's go across to our guests for more on this. We have with us Karan Verma, author. Also joining us is Professor Sangeet Ragi. He is a political analyst, as well as Rami Desai, author. With us also is Tausifur Rahman, who's a political analyst. Joining us on the broadcast as well is Gokul Chandran, a political analyst as well. Let me start with you first. Karan Verma, this is, of course, a move that has raised a lot of questions. The BCCI, though, says that this is something we have been doing all along. However, the question of choice and individual, rights as to what they want to eat, what kind of meat they want to eat, if at all they want to eat meat, is another question that also comes into play over here. Can the board decide for the players what they should be eating?
Madhav, I'll make a larger point here. The BCCI for quite some time has been taken over by a vogue left liberal ideology. We saw that during the T20 World Cup, where they kneeled down for the Black Lives Matter movement, which hardly many people could actually comprehend, but still they kneeled down. That made little sense, and there was a huge outrage back then. This time around, this has exceeded and gone to the next level. We cannot let BCCI dictate our food choices. We cannot let them impose a religious or a communal agenda to it. Every time we see from the Islamic lobby, we see a huge outcry whenever we have the Uniform Civil Code or any talk of the Uniform Civil Code. But here, they want to impose their food habits, their dietary habits. So I think it's in a very bad taste. And I believe that immediate action should be taken to it. And it's strange how this is happening under the tutelage of Jai Shah and Saurabh Ganguly.
Tausifur Rahman, is this really a laughing matter? Should rights of, or really the practices of one community or one practice, as Karan Verma alleges, being imposed on others, is that not a violation of the freedom of choice of those other individuals?
See, Madhav, I'll start with one phrase, कि laddu Hindu हो गया और बर्फी मुसलमान हो गया. This is what is happening in India. First, let me tell you, halal is not a religious practice. I mean, many Muslims are there. I can show you they are not eating halal when they go to a five-star hotel. It's not halal, but they are still eating beef. They are still eating pork. Many people are having halal as well. Now the problem is whether halal is scientifically safe or not. Whether halal is good for the health or not. Let me remind you, BCCI president is not a Muslim president. He's a world-class cricketer. And if they are doing something with their own set of doctors and deciding something, I don't think so they are pressurizing any player. Now, if a two player stand in the committee and says ki bhaiya hame halal nahi khana, you really think Saurav Ganguly will pressurize those two players? Now, how I tell you why it is scientific. Now, there is a windpipe. Now, what is the difference between halal and a normal slaughter? Now, there is a windpipe and carotid artery. When you cut those, the blood comes down and there is no clotting. So, you have to understand the scientific reason. But again, when you are staying in India, it really depends on you what you prefer.
I just will come in, Tauseefur Rahman. I'm not debating the scientific practicality of halal. My simple question is, there are religious practices in each religion which may differ from time to time, and there are those who may not want to eat halal, for instance. Rami Desai wants to come in on this. Rami Desai, this is the kind of logic that our previous speaker Kanwar was referring to. The point at the end of the day is one may choose to believe that a certain type of meat is edible or more healthy or beneficial, but the point is ultimately it should be up to the individual. Should any diktat be given which is uniform for all?
Absolutely. First of all, good evening, Madhav. I have to say that this order has not been thought through. BCCI is a huge, powerful body, and I find it absolutely amazing that they can be so callous about issues that really affect the social fabric of this country. First of all, this order, I don't know if we can call it an order. It's almost like a diktat, because we don't know if everybody's been consulted. Of course, from the little voice note I heard that he says that everybody's been consulted, but I don't know if such a powerful body, a new player or a young player, would have the confidence to really object to a diktat like this or to enforce his own views on such a powerful body. Secondly, I think this order completely disregards the fact that halal is non-compliant with Hindu practices. In Hinduism and Sikhism alike, the gentleman who spoke before me, he can talk about scientific and non-scientific methods, but it is explicitly stated that an animal must not be anxious or be tortured before his death, and therefore Hindus have jhatka. Having said that, it also very, very clearly completely sidelines a complete community of professionals who are called the Khatij, the butchers that follow the Jhatka method.
Okay.
Now, why should this sort of discrimination be institutionalized?
Okay, it is discrimination that is being institutionalized, Gokul Chandran says. Rami Desai, your response to that?
Good evening, Madhav. I don't understand what is first about. ETC is a separate body for the cricket players who plays for India, who represent India, and BCCI has given a diktat to its players. After consulting with each player what they want to eat, they are not imposing it on India. It is not. They are not imposing.
Gokul Chandran, you first say it is a diktat, then you say it's not an imposition. Either one of those statements can only be true. Both cannot be true. Make up your mind. Is it a diktat or is it not an imposition?
Players. That's a diktat to its players. BCCI.
No, you're saying it is not an imposition, and then you're saying it is a diktat as well.
No.
Please decide, sir. Is it a diktat or is it not an imposition?
Mother, if you are okay, if you decide that companies could bring in non-veg and you pass a diktat and all the employees of the bank now has to follow it, I cannot question that.
Sir,
time of it, and you have your
my simple question to you, sir, is this. My simple question to you, sir, is this. What about choice of those individuals, whether they want to choose to practice this or not? And let me bring in Professor Sangeet Ragi or not. Professor Sangeet Ragi, one second. I have a question for Professor Sangeet Ragi. Professor Sangeet Ragi, we asked the BCCI about this. The BCCI says this is nothing new. This has always been a practice. So why, the question is, why is it coming to light only now? If this is so objectionable, why has this not been objected to in the past, Professor Ragi?
Is it so important that
it was not objected in the past? Important is that halal is a religious practice. before you kill.
With Professor Raghi's line. I'm going to come back to Professor Raghi's line. We're just going to rectify the problem. But let me get across to Karan Verma. Karan Verma, you know, if this is an issue, if this is such a serious issue on which such strong emotions are now being evoked and being expressed right now, why did you wait so long? Why should anybody wait so long? Why was this not objected to in the past? The BCA says that this has been a practice for ages.
Madhav, it's sad that so far there have been so many practices that have been in there, and people so far have been, you know, turning a blind eye to it. But it's high time, courtesy the social media, courtesy so many things, many facets have now come to the fore. Why is halal allowed? We see that in so many weddings even today, so many functions that, because Hindus are a silent majority, you know, they will give in to it and they will be okay. But it is the Muslim minority which will perhaps not like it if jhatka is served.
Okay.
So this has been going on for quite some time.
Back with us.
It's just
Professor Raghi, I want Professor Raghi to come in on this. Professor Raghi, why silence for such a long time, sir? If this is unacceptable, why allow it to happen for such a long time? If you believe that it is unacceptable.
I think that it is as an individual. I always say that even Kareem, I am doing Kareem for any outlets. I am entitled to know whether it is a jhatka or it is halal. We don't accept jhatka because we don't accept halal because it is a cruel way of killing the the animals. So and that too, when you do it, you utter the verses from Quran, you utter the verses from the religious text, and then that is why it is said that it is then it becomes religious. So it is important, and I'm more worried because even in Indian railways, even in Indian airlines, it is not jhatka, it was the halal which was in practice. If you look at the lobby all over the world, you know, the Islamic countries are already lobbying for it, and they are creating a huge market for the halal products. So even if
but Professor Raghi, some time ago, your own government's Ministry of Commerce through APEDA, in fact, changed the rules saying that those countries which do not want halal, we will not export halal meat. So it is your government in power. If railways are serving halal meat and you have a problem with it, why not change it?
No, yes, I am against it. I'm against it, and I really appeal to the government to please stop this kind of
All right, this is your demand. Let's listen to what the government will have to say on this in coming days. I'd like to thank all our guests for joining us this evening. Slipping into a quick break for now.